the beginning. Like for me, the point where I knew I found a home was, I guess maybe at the end of the first retreat. To be honest with you, going in, I just didn't know, like I was married and at that time had 3 kids and one on the way, and I just thought I was in a different stage of life than a lot of the other people that were in the community. I had never met any of them, but I just, you just kind of assume these are all people that are more young and more flexible and nimble than me. But I got here and realized there are people in different stages and walks of life, and they're established and have families or have careers, and they're all just trying to be creative together. And I realized, like that's when I realized, like, okay, this is somewhere that I can be and I can land, because there are a lot of other people like me, that are holding down a full-time job but also trying to do this.
On the very first retreat, now I'm dating myself. If anybody's been here, this is the 20th retreat we've done, and I can go back to the very first. I've been to all of them. The very first one in 2021, I knew I found the right kind of people, because back then it was called Riding Rounds, and it started in COVID year. Everybody was inside, nobody could go anywhere, nobody could do anything, and we were riding online. I didn't even know what Zoom was until COVID year. I didn't know Zoom existed, but it brought people together. It made the world one room, which is crazy to think about. South Africa, Australia, Canada, people from everywhere, we're in one room being creative. And they started to kind of letting people travel at the end of 2020, top of 21. And Jess and I were talking, we said, you know what? People say they want to get together. How will we ever do that? You know what I mean? So we didn't know what was going to happen. Let's say, hey, let's just go get a few Airbnbs in Nashville, side by side. I'll never forget, there were 3 houses, I can't remember what we called them, but 3 houses side by side. And we packed, don't tell nobody, we packed everybody in these houses. But we didn't know who would come. We didn't know who would show up. And from day one, the house was full. We had food. People were bringing their own resources. Shout out to Ashton Cone and Alyssa for bringing the sound system. We just was pulling stuff together. That was when I knew there are people that are hungry to be creative and are hungry for a community that want to do it with no pressure of like trying to overperform or prove something to somebody. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I have to offer, and that it can genuinely be appreciated. That it can genuinely be like, hey, my gift and how my tone when I sing and how I play this instrument, my style, genre-listically, is that a word? It's accepted, and that's when I knew these are my people.
Yeah, I think it was I came here 2 times before you finally joined, and I would come back every time and be like, you need to listen to this voice memo, or like you have to hear this song, or this song stuck in my head. And she was like, I don't really like to co-write.
I just didn't think I could. I had no context where I was like, I'm gonna be too like stuck on my style, or like
I felt like myself.
I felt like I could only write for myself, and I was like, okay, fine. Like, she came home playing all of the videos, playing all the recordings. I was like, wait, these songs are really good.
Yeah.
Okay,
there was one time, I think March of 2024, I came back, and like the day after I came back, we wrote a 3-2-1. It was our first time co-writing something together.
Which is crazy.
Like formally. Yeah.
But yeah.
And then she was like, maybe I will come with you one of these days. So then in August, that following one, she ended up coming, and I think like day 1, she was like, okay, I will be back every single time.
Yeah, well, because I walked
I'm sorry it took me so long.
Yes, I felt so bad that I waited so long and was so hesitant, because as soon as I walked in the door, it was just so supportive, love. It just felt like family, and now I'm trapped here.
Yeah, and it's really fun like coming with the literal family, because then you go home and you have somebody else who like remembers it and knows the songs. And then when we get home now, we can just annoy our parents.
I was just gonna say that.
And make them listen to everything. And then our mom was like, yeah, those are awesome songs, but like, I don't really get it. And so then she came with us last time to get the full experience.
Kindsi's like #1 SongShare recruiter over here.
I would say honestly the very first experience that we had, because again, that was my first experience ever co-writing. I had only written by myself up until that point. And so the very first retreat back in 2020, the group that I had co-written with, which was the first song ever that I had co-written, they offered to go first at the SongShare. That was before she made lists. And so my co-writer said, we'll go first. And I thought, oh my goodness, I guess we will. And so I went up and played the keys, and I will never forget how supportive they were. Like the whole room, by the end of that song, they were all singing along. And you know, for the first time, that's like a great feeling to hear something that was only in your head and now it's being sung all over the room. So I think just the way they responded and the way they supported and cheered everybody on showed me that I had found a home and a safe space to pursue songwriting with people that feel the same way that I do, and people that, friends who really become like family, truly.
As somebody that actually gets to run the retreats, is over SongShare, I know a lot of people, it feels like I'm on the outside of the community, but I do remember a specific moment on our second retreat, our label retreat, when I felt like very seen and very heard. I got to write a song, get up and sing it, and after I finished singing it, someone came up and said, hey, that felt like that was telling me that you needed to talk about something. And I sat down and had a conversation with 2 or 3 people, and I realized that this community is just as much for me as anybody else. So while I may be somebody that's making decisions and plans, it's also something that I'm getting to benefit from at the same time.
I always refer back to my very first and the very first experience. I was brand new to even thinking that I could pursue, you know, anything creatively outside of my church or even just my bedroom, you know. And I remember being in a Wright where I saw the face of someone that I had seen on YouTube, and I'm like, how am I in this room? You know, it was just like surreal. And I left feeling every single Wright that weekend that I wasn't out of place. Like I just felt invited, I felt welcomed in, I felt encouraged. And I just had so many people just say little things along the way that easily drops your guard and just lets you know, like I said, like, you know, I belong here and I can let go of fear, I can let go of the doubts and all the things that maybe I was struggling with before I got here, because it's just a family and they invite you in. And so I think from the very first retreat I was in, I was sold, and I don't think I've missed many since then. So yeah, I'm here for the long haul.
There are a few reasons why SongShare is just different. And I remember one moment in particular. I'd been around a while, but I was coming into teacher session, and it was right after I had just had my baby boy. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be around a whole bunch of people, and it's a large social setting. And from the moment I showed up, people were just on my team, ready to help, ready to meet me where I was. And that's when I noticed something was different. It wasn't just that you're getting to be around people that are talented or that can songwrite their tails off. It was the fact that they're willing to be present with you where you are, whenever you show up, and that they are also showing up genuinely, honestly present and ready to meet you where you are.
So the moment that I knew that this was a really special space and a space that I wanted to come and be a part of, it was actually my very first time just coming to a SongShare night. I wasn't one of the actual writers or anything. I was invited by Andricus, actually. And I remember coming with my friends, and you know, these 2 friends, like we've done tons of writes together and been in spaces all together, us 3. And we all came in, and each of us knew that there was something different about this space. Just seeing how people were reacting and caring about what the person in front of them was doing. There was just so much energy. Like if you ever get a chance to either watch some of the videos, I encourage you to come and like for real be in the room, because the videos are great, but they don't do it justice. Like the level of energy that you feel and the excitement that people have and the way that like everybody really is immersed completely in what is happening in the moment, like it's something very, very, very special. And then for me at the end of the night, to have met Jess and Bron, and they were just so welcoming. You know, for them to be the leaders of this space and still be so open-handed to someone brand new that they didn't know, they weren't the ones to invite me. That was super special for me. And I've gotten a chance to build some great relationship with them as well as other people in this space, just because of how much they care and the culture that they've cultivated here. So, yeah.
I've been here forever, y'all. I'm ancient. But way back in the day, it was like one of the second retreats they've done. And I was, you know, I was in the writing game, but still very insecure, still trying to figure out me, figure out life, figure out what I'm doing. And there were like a couple songs that I had just been, doodling with and was feeling real weird. And I remember so distinctly, one night I'm in the living room and I'm very introverted, so I isolate very quickly. And so I kind of isolated just because like it's a crazy day, lots of creativity. I was just like, I don't know what I think about me, let me go isolate. And one of the guys, his name was Jesse, found me. And he just kind of came and sat, and I just happened to be playing guitar, and I was playing one of these songs that I was really insecure about and doodling with. He was like, what are you doing with that song? Like, why aren't you working on this? Do you want like community to work? I'll write this with you if you really need somebody to help you. And I just remember feeling like Kyli, you don't gotta do this alone. Like there's legit like people all around, and specifically in this community, that desire to help you, that desire to push you not only forward, but up and higher. And so I just remember that. I talk about it actually often and whenever I talk about songwriting and community, but I think that would be one of the more critical moments.
I knew the moment that we actually did the first SongShare concert at the NOLA Experience, that I was at home. When everyone just instantly started singing the song back to the group that presented it, we were dancing, we were just happy and relaxed with one another. I knew I found my place. I found my group of creatives to be with and to grow with. And so, yeah, y'all stuck with me.
When my very first retreat, I was very nervous. I did not want to come. Jess kind of forced me into coming. And I came just off the strength of our relationship because she was so adamant that this was going to change my life. And I remember sitting in the back of the room with all these talented people, and I was like, I don't belong in this room. And at the end of the retreat, the day after, probably that Saturday or Sunday, I stayed around in Nashville. And the next morning, I had a great time, right? I didn't know if it was gonna be real, if it was real or it was just because I finally found an outlet for a little bit and I can look for something else. When I woke up that next morning, I had a voice message from one of the people that I had written with. His name was Will. And it was a voice message where he was just speaking life over me, telling me like, hey, like I noticed this week you did this, this, and this. I also recognized like you shied away in this, and this area, and I'm gonna be praying for you. I see something in you, and I see like there's more in you. And he said, so now that you've seen what you can do, and he says, now you have the choice. You can either go back home and be a big fish in a little pond, or maybe it's time for you to jump into the ocean. And I'll never forget that. And then as I was reading that, like I'm a slow processor, so I didn't respond instantly. I went back to sleep, woke up with 3 more text messages of the kind. Instagram was blowing up because I had posted like that I was at Instagram, and everybody was like, welcome home, you belong here, like there's a space for you, oh my God, writing with you was great, you're talented, you're called to this. And just seeing that affirmation, I knew that I was home.